Okay, welcome everyone to Friday Night Live with John
and Patty.
Thank you. Nice to see you all here. And... Okay. Oh, Dawn Alexander joined us.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Dawn.
Hello, Dawn Alexander.
Hi, John.
Okay.
Hi, Patty. How are you?
Hello, doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you.
Good. Glad you joined. All right, so announcements. Our next month's Zoom call is Friday, August 21st. Topic to be determined. If you have any ideas, please let us know something you want us to talk about. Happy to take your suggestions. We have gift certificates available if you have a celebration coming up or you want to get someone something or someone needs to get you something. Let them know that we are here for that. Referrals are the best thing for us. A lot of you have done referring to us in the past and we love it, and please keep it up. Keeps us going, keeps us in business, keeps us helping you. And you can find our recordings of Zoom on YouTube. We've got some new testimonial videos on there as well. So please check that out and give it a thumbs up if you like it. Group presentations. You know how John is not shy, so if you know someone or have a group that is looking for speakers, let us know. And
this happened. You're just telling me the story.
He's not muted. Could you all make sure that you're on mute, please?
That I saw my woman and my bed.
We hear somebody.
Okay. All right. So we'd love to do presentations to your group. So anything you've got, let us know.
Anything about health and how to get healthy, stay healthy, be healthy.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk about taking time for yourself. You're on.
Okay. Remember, we're going to have a drawing at the end, so stay on board. Again, if we draw your name and you're not here, you lose. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. So I've given this topic a lot of thought because it's something that I think everybody needs to think about. And if I had a dime for every time somebody has told me over the years I've been doing this that I just don't have time. I can't do this, I can't do that because I'd be a rich man. Okay? Literally. And most of the time it's not reality. Okay? We make it reality because we believe it, and it's the easy way out. But I want to start out by telling you something that happened. And on Tuesday, I went to a funeral. And the person was a overseer of a church. Her husband's a pastor. They had come in here a good number of years ago. Her husband would come in more regular. She never had time. Never had time. Every time her husband would come in and I'd say, "What about your wife? Oh, she's so busy. She just doesn't have time. She's so busy. So busy, so busy, so busy. Got this going, got that going." And I don't doubt that she was busy because she had 10 children. She's got 30 some grandchildren, 8 or 9 great grandchildren. She just turned 70 years old. She was in Boston on a Monday, last Monday, I believe it was in June. And she was awarded something by the state for her work and this and that. And they were going on a short vacation. They flew out Monday night to go to somewhere in the Carolinas.
Yeah, for a conference.
They were actually going to do a conference too, but trying to get a little free time. Wednesday morning, she died. Okay, she had issues. When I talked to some of the family and friends, some of the things she was saying to them, they told me that she kept saying, I need to get in and see John. I need to go and see alternative health. I need to do something. But she never had time. And I say this because we believe that everything that's there is more important than yourself. We've all been there. We've all done it. Okay. We have to stop and realize that we have to take care of ourselves. If you don't put yourself first, then you're last. Okay. If you don't put yourself first, nobody else will. And her boutique that she had, her church that she had, her followers don't have her anymore. Why? Because she did not take time for herself. When she went in the hospital, she was actually what they call septic. She was very unhealthy, very sick, but she just kept going because we always think that it'll be tomorrow. It'll be okay. All right. You know, I don't have time to go and do a foot bath. I don't have time to detox. That's the biggest thing. I don't have time. It doesn't take time to detox and clean your body. It does not take time. Okay. I just finished a detox yesterday. Patty's on her third day today, but our life is still the same. We worked. I took a day on Wednesday and walked 18 holes of golf while I'm detoxing. It doesn't matter. We have to do things for ourselves. So we want to talk about time for ourselves. And I'm a firm believer in my God is number one and then me. And I've learned that. It took me a long time. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't born with this attitude. Okay. And Patty knows that just from working with me for the last 20 plus years. Okay. It's something we have to learn. And I think the more I'm around people that are unhealthy and don't take care of themselves, the more I realize how important it is to take care of myself. And so what I want you all to think about is don't look at this as being chastised, but you have to look at yourself and say, what can I do better for myself? And I honestly believe this pertains more to women than men, okay? Because women have been raised, told, taught that everything else, take care of everything. Take care of the husband, take care of the kid, the children, take care of the surrounding, everything. And that's the way our life is. But we have to stop and say, wait a minute. If you don't take care of yourself, who is going to take care of you, number one? And if you're not around, then who's going to take care of the people that you thought you had to not waste, that was the wrong word, spend all your time taking care of. So I hope everybody just kind of looks himself in the mirror and says, you know what can I do to help myself and be better for myself? Okay. And do the things I need to do. Now with self-care comes other things. Okay. Self-care, self-love. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to take care of yourself. We all take care of the things that we love. We all take care of the things we want to and that we feel we need to. Okay. And it comes with self-esteem. Self-esteem means we have to look at ourselves as being important and as important as anything else around us, anybody else that we know, etc. No matter where your standing is in your job, in your sibling line, anything. We have to realize that we are God's children and we're all important. And we have to realize that our body is a temple. And as long as we put all of that together, I think it's easier to understand what we need to do and take care of ourselves. So let's get started, okay? Okay, so there are myths about self-care. Okay, number one, myth, self-care is an indulgence. No, it is not indulgence. Self-care is meaningful self-care, which includes making mindful changes in patterns of thoughts, and behaviors that do not contribute to your well-being, okay? So I understand that a lot of times we are responsible for, whether it's children, whether it's your parents, but it can only be so much. You cannot put everything into anybody else. You have to take time for yourself and manage something where you get breaks and you get time for yourself. Myth number 2, self-care is selfish. Now, that is a myth. So when you make time for yourself and get sufficient rest and exercise, you're going to feel more energetic, able to do more for whoever it is that you're trying to do more for, and for yourself and the people around you. So you're going to have more energy and be able to do more if you take care of yourself. Myth number 3, self-care is a one-time experience, okay? No, self-care is looking after yourself, is ongoing in building resilience to be able to face the hardships, and in preventing burnout. Burnout is one of the largest causes of things like cardiovascular issues, dementia, Alzheimer's, because we constantly burn the candle, and pretty soon that candle is going to burn right to the core and burn out. And self-care is time consuming. So you don't have to take huge chunks of time out of your everyday, but you have to take some time for yourself. Sometime, okay? And you don't have to take it all at once. You can break it up, little pieces. So it's not time consuming, but because we have to regulate time for ourselves to do the things that we need to do. Okay. So do you put yourself last? I asked that question. You can raise your hand, you can message us, whatever, if you have thoughts. But do you put yourself last? And if you do, how are you going to change it? Because we all know that there's a million things going on, okay? From people that are sick, the stress, work, children, etc. And it doesn't matter if they're young or older, it doesn't matter. There's still stress, okay? The time management aspect, the fear or worry about our health, etc., etc., etc. There's all the things that go on in our mind. So do you put yourself first or do you put yourself last? If you're putting yourself last, I want you to think of your life, your family, as a train. Okay? So a train goes down the track. Once it gets started, it follows the engine because the engine is the power and everything else follows. Now, I have never seen a train racing down the track, moving successfully with the engine in the back. It doesn't work. Okay? The engine is the lead. And what we have to learn is we are all leaders in some form or fashion in our life to somebody. So every single person, myself, Patty sitting here, all of you, there's somebody out there saying, Nancy, Heather, Carol, I look up to them. I listen to them. Okay? So we have to be the leader. We have to understand it. You might not realize it, but it is the fact. So do not put yourself last. Move yourself up in that train and become the engine, become the leader, so that everything else will follow and do the things that you are doing. Okay? So when you consistently put other people's needs before your own, you have to understand that your nervous system remains in a chronic state of stress, or they call it a fawn response. Your body floods with stress, and then you end up having high issues of cortisol. And we all know that cortisol is not a good thing. Last week's class, they talked a lot about cortisol and how it affects the brain, how it affects the heart, etc. And it's cortisol and adrenaline, which leads to physical exhaustion, a weakened immune system, frequent tension headaches, and gastrointestinal issues. Okay? So everything goes back down to the gastrointestinal. We've all heard this 1,000 times. So what happens is there's a toll. And this toll is about people that are people-pleasing cycles. Okay? And it manifests. Hormones break down and fatigue. So chronic elevation of cortisol keeps your body on high alert. Because if you look at this picture, you know, the people that are sick, the people that are tired, you're thinking about bills, you're thinking about getting to work, you're thinking about the world situation, the news that you just saw, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Which leaves you feeling like you're drained, burned out. And then, of course, we start having sleep problems, we have gastrointestinal problems, and it just compounds itself until we find out that we're gaining weight, we can't lose the weight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because we got high cortisol, our hormones are out of whack, and everything is just falling apart. So it also creates muscle tension. So what happens is most people that put themselves last, what happens is they start suppressing emotions. They don't want to tell anybody, okay, that they're burnt out. Nobody wants to go around saying I'm burnt out. Very few people, okay, that, you know, I'm stressed all the time. Most people hold it to themselves. So what happens is we start holding on to that tension, the muscles tense up, and it results in chronic neck, shoulder, and back pain. So if you have chronic neck, shoulder, and back pain, one of the things you might want to think about is, am I taking care of myself? Am I doing the things to let my body relax and calm? Then it creates a gastrointestinal distress. It's called the gut-brain connection, which is, you know, sensitive to people-pleasing stress. Do you know people that want to make everybody happy? That want to do everything for everybody? All right. I know people that way. I know a lot of them. All right. It causes stomach aches, indigestions, irritable bowel syndrome, which is normally referred to as IBS, and many, many other things. So what happens is people end up with all of this gut-brain connection with the IBS and irritable bowel. My back hurts, my neck hurts. You know, I've got night sweats, hot flashes, and this is men or women, okay? I feel burned out. I have foggy brain. I can't think straight. Everything is coming at me like 100 miles an hour, and I can't catch a break, okay? As I told somebody the other day, we don't catch breaks. We make our breaks, all right? So when all this stuff happens, all of a sudden we just feel there's nothing I can do. Everything is, it's useless. Not true. We have to stop and say, okay, take myself out of the picture for a little bit and relax and not worry about everything that's happening and find somebody else that will pick up some of the load. Okay. So now, self-care is not a luxury. Okay? It is not. And anybody who tells you it is wrong. I will tell you unequivocally, male or female, it is wrong. We have to take time for ourselves. I honestly believe 3 years ago, I would say, that it was due to my stress. I was running 3 offices. I was working 75, 80 hours a week, okay, on the road back and forth, because I felt I needed to take care of everybody in 3 offices. All right. And all of a sudden something happened. Nobody could figure out what it was. I believe to this day that it was because I just pushed myself to the point of the body just broke down. All right. Showed up in the liver. Thank God I was healthy enough to be able to fight it. But as doctors told me, had you not been healthy, you would not have survived at all. Right away, it would have just got you. Okay. So I realized it's not a luxury, it's a life saving venture to take care of yourself. So what happens is when we take care of ourselves, it allows us to recharge. It establishes healthy boundaries. We all have to have boundaries, whether it's family, whether it's work, no matter what it is, we have to have boundaries. You can only do so much, and that's it. Okay. If it's home, you deal with it at home. If it's at work, you deal with it at work. You don't combine the two. When you go to work, you leave home at home. When you go to work, you leave home at home. When you go home, you leave work at work. Period. You don't drag them back and forth because that just totally, totally drains you. And we have to giving yourself time. It gets support from other people. There's an old saying, you cannot pour from an empty vessel. Making personal restoration essential for showing up as your best self. Okay. You got to be yourself because that you are the vessel that you're portraying to everybody else. If you're tired, foggy brained, worn out, etc., you cannot function. You cannot help anybody. You are of no value to anybody. Okay. So why does time management matter for self-care? All right. So you have to plan it. Anybody who thinks, okay, I'm going to start taking care of myself. So let's just say Patty says, okay, I'm just going to take care of myself. It will not happen unless you plan it. Yesterday on her day off, she went and got a massage. Good job. Okay. Really, because she was feeling muscle stress. She was feeling what else were you feeling? Why did you decide to do
I
that?
just needed to, yeah, just have it done. My neck was bothering me. I fell when we were on vacation, and I think, even though I've been for chiropractic adjustments, I think it was still bothering me, and just needed a day to just, do nothing, pretty much.
And what they tell you about your muscles?
Oh, they were tight,
Okay.
definitely tight.
All right. I don't know how they can be tight. You've been on vacation half the time. Just kidding. Just kidding. But so you have to plan it. If you just say, I'm going to do it, you'll never get to it because we're all guilty of procrastination. Guilty. I'm guilty. Okay. We're all guilty. So what she did was she had time off. So she planned it and scheduled it ahead of time, not waiting until your day off to see if you have something else to do. Okay. That's what a lot of people do. Okay. I got some time. When that time comes, if I don't have anything else to do, I'll do something. Wrong. You need to plan to do it in advance, just like you plan to make dinner, you plan to go places or do grocery shopping or whatever it is that you do, you plan to do it. Okay. And self-care has to be strategic. Okay. Because it supports your physical and emotional stability. Okay. And once you start planning and doing things, I don't know if you planned another massage or not yet or scheduled it.
I have not yet,
Okay.
but I will.
Yes. Okay. Just like 3 Mondays out of the month, Patty comes in and gets a light therapy. She does a body wrap, etc. Okay. Because she plans it. All right. But if she didn't plan it and waited till Mondays when I'm here to do it and said, okay, if I don't have something to do, I'll come in, then it's never going to happen. Or I probably wouldn't be available to do it because then I would make plans to do something else. All right. But it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't always have to be going and get an hour, hour and a half massage. How long was your massage?
An hour.
An hour. Okay. It doesn't have to be long. You can break it down. You can take brief breaks when you're doing things. Just take a break, get away from it. Okay. You can get away from the routines. You can do some stretching. Things like that will break it up so that your mind isn't constantly worried about whatever it is you're working, whether it's work or a home or a combination of all of them. Okay. And then you have to set a goal to understand that you've got to plan enough things and read your body and say, how do I feel? Do I need to take more time? Do I need to do different things? And you don't want to do the same thing all the time. Okay. So if Patty just only goes and gets massages once every, I don't know, month or whatever it is, that's not enough. And you need different things because it's both physical, mental, and spiritual. Okay. It's not just about being mentally, taking a mental break. It's all of them. So we need to do some walking and get away from things. We need to get away from the screen times and the news and get our mind where you're looking at the beauty of wherever you live. Okay. If somebody's not muted, appreciate everybody look to see if you're muted. Okay. All right. So go ahead. Okay. So how do you do this? Okay. Um, so you want to start small. Okay. You want to start small. You don't have to make huge changes. I'm not saying, you've got to say, okay, you know what? Heather says to her husband, look, I'm taking a day every once a week and I'm going to go and, spend a lot of money and go to the spa and spend the day at the spa. We don't have to do, you can if you want to, Heather, but, start small. Okay. Start practicing self-care. Start with small changes and make some additions to your changes to your routines. Take 30 minutes every day to walk. And it might seem impossible. It might seem like you don't have the time, but you do have the time. You have the time if you want to do it. And that's what happens in our life. We have time. It's just where do we spend our time? We have money. It just depends on where we want to spend the money. Okay. We have a love for it. It just depends on where you want to spread it. That's all. We have the time. So if you don't think you have the 30 minutes for a walk, start out with 10 minutes. Just take 10 minutes and feel how good you feel after 10 minutes. And then you'll realize that what we do that makes us feel good, we'll expand on that. We'll make it a little longer as we go because you're going to feel much better. And everybody's different. So I'm not saying everybody should do exactly the same thing because there's no one size fits all that'll work for everybody. We understand everybody has a different life, different things going on in their life, etc. Okay. I use Patty because she's sitting right here and I know a lot about her. But when our day off, she goes and takes care of in the evening on Mondays, she goes and takes care of her grandson. Okay. Now, I know she loves her grandson more than virtually anything in the world. Okay. But that is still stress. Okay. It's still work. It's stress. She loves him. She wants, but if she said, okay, I'm going to spend all my time doing this, my spare time, that's too much stress. Okay. We have to understand there are things that we love to do but it's still stressful. You love your job. I love what I do here. I really and truly do. But I know that I have to get away from it at times. Okay. No matter how much I love the clients, there's times I just need to get away. I need to be away, not thinking about other people's issues and problems, not thinking about the successes and the stumbling blocks. I have to get away and think about myself because then I come back stronger. So we have to make time for ourselves. Okay. And you've got to experiment with what works for you and how it works, but you've got to take the time to do that. And then make a list of the things that you find that are helpful. If you want to build something sustainable, a self-care plan, you have to be actively engaged in the practice you try. You can't say, I'm just going to go for a walk, do a 10-minute walk, come back and just hit the kitchen and start cooking and be thinking about the meal you're going to prepare while you're walking. When you're doing it, you have to be thinking about yourself. What is this doing for me? How is this working for me? Okay. So You want to take an audit of things. You want to track it and how it's changing the way you feel and both physically and emotionally. And you want to look for patterns. Okay. Like when you didn't take the break, how did you feel? Did you feel like you were cheated out of time? Everybody needs to spend time on themselves. You need to know what the outcome is and what you like or dislike about whatever you tried because you're experimenting. So here's some suggestions, okay? I want to give you. When you first wake up in the morning, pause. Don't wake up and jump out of bed. Pause. Think about yourself and check in with yourself. The day is starting. I don't have to jump out of bed and start rushing immediately. That means wake up or set your alarm so you have a couple of minutes to do that. What do people do? They set their alarm for 7 o'clock, but they set it because they have to be up at 7 o'clock. You want some time for yourself. I'm not saying an hour. I'm saying a few minutes to say, you know what? I'm breathing. My eyes are open. How do I want to proceed? So you go into it smooth and not that huge rush. All right. You want to practice slow, deep breathing. We talk about 4-7-8. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 7 and release it real slow for a count of 8. Do that 2 or 3 times when you first wake up to give yourself time and calm the body. Because as soon as we wake up, we think, okay, got to go to work, got to get up, got to take the shower, got to get some breakfast, got to get the family, whatever you might have going on. You want to slow it down. You want to start with a journal. Write things down. Okay? Write things down and keep a journal. We tell a lot of people that come in here, journal your foods, journal your thoughts, journal. And the people that do it have much more success than the people that don't. When people are struggling, if they'll start journaling, all of a sudden things turn around. Find something that you can create. Like if you like to draw. If you like to paint, cook, sculpt. But cooking can't be you're cooking dinner and have to have it ready at such time because the kids and the husband or the wife, whatever it might be, are going to be home. You want it, if you're going to do it to relax, it's something you like to do and you just like to cook. There are people that like that. I'm not one of them. When I cook, I just cook to eat and I'm done. Okay. So that wouldn't be good for me. Do some sculpting or go out and pick some flowers or do something that you like knitting. We have a lady that comes in and does foot baths and she knits while she's in a foot bath because she loves to knit and that's calming for her. She's taking care of her 92-year-old mother. It's very stressful, but she knits and she does things to calm herself that way. Okay. And when you take a break from whatever, stretch your body, reach to the sky, take deep breaths, take a walk, call a friend. Now, when you call the friend, call somebody that isn't going to want to lay all their problems on you. Okay. We all have enough of our own problems. You're not the caregiver to everybody else that has problems because everybody has them. And sometimes we have to set boundaries and we have to tell people that I want to talk. I love talking to you, but I don't need to hear all the problems you got because that's just stressful to me. And it is. When you hear once in a while is fine, but not all the time. So call a friend, drink lots of water, of course, get enough sleep. When I hear people tell me I get 4 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep, you're not going to live well doing that. Practice saying
No.
Practice saying again.
No.
We have to learn to say no. Okay? No, I can't do that. That's hard for people. Very hard. I find it hard. Okay? But you have to learn to say no. That's part of the boundaries. And because if you say yes all the time, more and more things, and I'm not just saying to individual people, I'm saying it to places like churches, work, gatherings, business associates. You've got to say no sometimes. I get people here say, tell me they're so involved with everything going on in the church that they don't have time for anything else. Church is wonderful, but there's only a certain amount you can do. Okay. And the old saying is the more you do, the more people want. That's just the way it is, whether it's your family, friends, businesses, associates, etc. That's the way life is. The more you do for them, the more they want. Because we're all kids at heart. And we know kids are that way, but we're all kids at heart. Reconnect with a hobby. If there's something you used to do and enjoy before you were married, had kids, whatever, go back to it because that made you happy then. But you lost track of it because you lost time. Spend some time outdoors. I can't stress sunshine. I don't care what time of the year it is, get outside, breathe fresh air, get away from the kind of lights that we're sitting under now. Okay. Get real light. Meditate and pray. But when you pray, clear your mind. When you meditate, clear your mind. Clear it. There's only one thing you be thinking about, and that's the prayers that you are praying. Join some support groups if you want to. This one I like. Make a gratitude list. You know, it's so easy to think about all the negative, but there's so many positives. Once we start thinking positive, everything becomes positive. Look for opportunities to laugh. That's why, you know, that joke that the lady told us when she was here, it made me laugh and it felt good. Okay. Look for opportunities to laugh. Find it. Read a book. Plan on doing things, fun things with family and friends, not things that you have to do, but things that you want to do. Because all of this comes down to self-love. Okay. And self-esteem. And if we love ourselves, then we're going to take care of ourselves. Okay. So, okay, I go back to,
I've gone over some of this.
yes, I already went, schedule some time for commitments. Okay. Make it realistic. Make it realistic. Small amounts of time. So decline conflicts. Get away from the conflicts. We all know everybody has that uncle in the family. We'll just use it that. Okay. That's a problem. Stay away. Get away from them. Okay. Don't burden yourself with that person, whoever it might be, that really brings you down. We all know that we have them. We all know it. You have to make changes, whether it's family, whether it's friends, etc. Okay. We have the people that make us laugh that we can be around. We have the people that can make us feel good. But we also have the people around us that don't make us feel good and bring us down. So, boundaries. If you set boundaries, you'll have more time for self-care. Okay, because you have less external demands and that overwhelm or take up your schedule and energy. You have to identify weak boundaries. So, you know, you don't have to respond to everything immediately. Okay, unless it's life and death, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be done right now. We all want an answer. I know I do. I reach out to somebody, I want an answer. Okay, but people don't have to answer, and we have to understand that people don't have to respond to us immediately. And the more we understand about other people don't have to respond to us, the easier it is for us not to think I have to respond immediately right now for every little thing. And if we set the boundaries, we're able to focus, we're able to have time for ourselves, etc.
This next one is good.
Okay. Go ahead.
So creating micro breaks. So as John mentioned before, if you can't go for a half-hour walk, go for a 10-minute walk. But at your desk, at work, wherever you are during the day, if you need to just get away from somebody, the breathing is important. Stretching. Just step away from your desk if you're at work or working for somebody, even at home. Just stand up and stretch, breathe. 5 minutes, like bathroom break. You just breathe and clear your mind, and then you can refocus to going back to what you're doing. So examples: stretching, deep breathing, brief walks, hydration. We talk about hydration all the time. Just meditating, prayer, but the breathing is so important. So, so important. We're all shallow breathers, so we need to stop and take the time and really focus on our breathing. Okay. And schedule those breaks if you need to. Okay. If you've got a project that needs to be done, the boss just dumps it on you, take 5 minutes to regroup, to stretch, breathe, clear your mind before you jump into that, and then take breaks during it.
Okay. So we look at things that take our time, because we don't have time to take care of ourselves. People say it all the time. I don't have time. Look at your time wasters. What are they? Screen time.
Yeah, big time.
I can get on my phone and be on it. And, for years, I told employees, stay off your phone, because you think you're on it for a short amount of time. The next thing you know, it's not just minutes sometimes. It can be hours. And those are times that we can be doing things for ourselves. And most of the screen time is unproductive. Okay. Unstructured multitasking. Okay. And meaning we call it jumping, jumping around from one thing to another and thinking you're busy because you don't finish something and just get it done and out of the way. Set time limits for things. Okay. Batching tasks, similar things. Create time management by getting similar things done at once rather than doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and then coming back to a little bit of this. And reinvest in yourself. Okay. Reinvest in your own time so that you have a much more balanced lifestyle.
So make things consistent, find that time where if it's 10 o'clock every day, just get up and stretch. Find that time for that walk at night. After supper is best. Okay. Pair it with existing habits. Okay, so whatever works for you. If you already have something going on that works for you, add a little to it. Add another 5 minutes meditation. Do that focus, deep breathing. Okay. And you're gonna reduce the load on your brain.
And reducing your cognitive load. So for me, I'm just going to be an example. For me, I used to, for years, I would take for the business, the bills would come in, I would just let them sit until then I'd spend a day or several hours writing all the bills. And I would get so stressed because it seemed like it was so much. So I said, okay, you know what? As they come in day by day, I just write them that day because it seems like I'm only writing one or two bills and it's not that many. So for me, that mental stress lifted. It didn't seem so big. Okay. So those are things that you can practice and look at and say, what makes me feel better to do something so it doesn't feel like such a burden?
Okay, so in the beginning, John talked about journaling, writing things down. So do that, whether it's your time wasters or the things that you're taking time that you're taking for self-care, and then assess it at the end of the week and see what works, what didn't, what you need to change, what you need to delete, rearrange. Okay. So just if the schedule, if it's not working, if you missed a stretching break, figure it out and put it in your calendar. I know people whose smartwatches buzz when they haven't taken steps in an hour, something like that. Put a reminder or alert on your phone. It says, get up and walk, do your deep breathing. Okay. But be flexible because not everything can happen exactly at 10 o'clock or whatever time you want to do it. And just, don't get stressed because you didn't get to do it, but find the time to do it. and be committed to
Commit.
doing it.
Mhm. Okay, practice self-compassion. Okay, self-compassion. And that brings me into things like self-love, which I'm going to talk a little bit about. Taking care of yourself. Now, taking care of yourself is not, once in a while. Taking care of yourself really is all the time, every day. Everything you do should be something in it for you. All right. Whether or not, if you're doing a lot of things for people and there's no return, you got to quit doing it. You got to demand, that things are helping you as you're doing everything for everybody else. All right. When you miss self-care, the time, make it up. Don't let it go and just say, okay, you know what? I didn't get to do it this week, this month, whatever, so I won't. You got to make it up for yourself. All right. There are times when things might happen, you can't, but the longer you don't take care of yourself, the easier it is not to take care of yourself. And so you have to make it up and you have to say, you know what? I missed out on this activity that I wanted to do. So next time I'm gonna do it twice as long or whatever, or do it 2 days in a row instead of normally the one day, whatever it might be. You have to be patient with yourself, okay? And you have to be consistent. And as Patty said, you have to buy into it. And the people around you have to buy into it for you, just like you have to buy in for them to take time for themselves. It's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. If there are people in your life, they have to understand they have the same right to take care of themselves as you do. But if they don't, that's their problem, not yours. And you have to take care of yourself. All right. It's taken me a long time to learn this, but Patty will tell you that I have changed a lot since she started working for me. There was times when lately now, when Patty will say, I'll tell her to go home. And she'll say, I got so much to do. And I say, it'll be there tomorrow. You got to go home and just relax, do the things you want to do. That will be there. The longer she looks at the pile of stuff that I put on her desk or make her responsible for, the more stressed she is. Okay. So I'll still pile it there, but then she can get to it. And I know what is important and what isn't. And I'll tell her. So sometimes we need people to help us too. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to seek help, because it's all about you in this case. And the better and more relaxed she is, the better she is in working for me, the better she is for the clients and her own family. So it's helping everybody. As I said, it's got to be something for you in return. So she works, she needs somebody to help her to say, go. Just like there's times when I'll get busy and she'll say, when was the last time you did a foot bath? When was the last time you, and I sometimes think she's nagging, but no, I know it's because she cares and she knows I need to do things. Just go take your Wednesdays and go play a round of golf. We'll be fine. Because that makes me understand, okay, she understands what I need to. So there's a payback there. You need people in your life like that. Family, co-workers, superiors, etc. You got to have them. If you don't have them, find ones that will take care of you. Okay. Okay. So there's different types of self-care. Okay. And we have to understand that. Self-care is multidimensional. Okay. And it means ensuring your physical and emotional needs are met. So the types of self-care is first, physical self-care. That's things like exercise, healthy diet, drinking water, sufficient sleep. Then there's mental self-care. That's things like engaging in nature, hobbies, learning, meditation, mindfulness, prayer. Emotional self-care, setting boundaries, as we mentioned, expressing feelings. If you never express your feelings, nobody knows what you're thinking. Okay? If nobody knows that things bother you, how in the world will they ever change it? If you tell them your feelings and they won't accept or understand it at all or listen, you're around the wrong people, period. That's the way it is. You have to make changes and reset your boundaries, okay? And then with emotional self-care, you have to pursue activities that bring you happiness, that make you feel good, all right? Then there's social self-care. That's spending time with loved ones, volunteering, nurturing relationships, that type of thing. And then there's spiritual self-care, reflecting on your values. That's looking for the positive, okay? Finding purpose in your life, your religion, your faith, their prayers, expressing gratitude. Be thankful for the things we have. So many times I hear people say, I only got this, but you got something. Be thankful for what we have rather than what we didn't have. And then again, going back and connecting with nature. Those are the different types of self-care. And the 5 C's of self-care are, number 1 is competence. You got to feel capable of handling the challenges. Number 2 is confidence. You have to trust in your abilities. No matter what anybody else says, you have to trust in your abilities. Number 3 is connection. That's nurturing meaningful relationships, ones that make you feel good. Okay? Not that drain you. It's easy to find people who would drain you. You need meaningful. Number 4 is character. Living aligned with your values. Okay, your values. And don't be afraid to let people know what your values are. They can either adjust or they can leave. That's the way it goes. And number 5 is caring. With all this, we have to show empathy towards others and ourselves. We have to show empathy to ourselves and understanding and forgiving and caring, etc. Those are the 5 C's of self-care, which all comes down to self-love. Okay? In order for us to do these things we talked about, you have to love yourself enough to do it. So self-love is nothing more than a state of appreciation for yourself. And that grows from actions that support our physical, physiological, and spiritual growth. Self-love means having a high regard for our own well-being and happiness. Okay? Let me repeat that. Self-love means having a high regard for our own well-being and happiness. We can't depend on anybody else to make us happy and give us well-being. Self-love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. Self-love means not settling for less than you deserve. So in order to do that, you have to learn how good you are. You have to believe in yourself. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes we've been made to feel that we're inadequate, but we're not. Okay? And self-love means something different for each person because we all have different ways of taking care of ourselves, but you have to figure out what it is. So, what does self-love mean to you? For starters, it can be talking to and about yourself with love. So, what I tell everybody is, in order to start taking care of yourself, you have to start talking to yourself. Some of you have heard this before. I call it, do not lie to the man in the mirror, or you can say to the person in the mirror if you want. Somebody wrote that and said, don't lie to the person in the mirror. And that's you. Every morning, if you want to learn to love yourself, you need to look at yourself in the mirror first thing, and you need to talk to yourself. Look yourself right in the eye. Because in the morning, when we still have the sleepy dirt in our eye, our hair isn't where we want it to be, etc., that's when we look the worst. And if you can look yourself in the eye and tell yourself you love yourself, sounds hokey, but you start your day out feeling good. And everybody would love to have somebody first thing in the morning to tell tell you how important you are, how much you're loved. Okay? But we can do it for ourselves. You have to prioritize yourself, meaning you're first. Your needs have to be taken care of. You have to get away from self-judgment. Quit thinking negative about yourself. Every time a negative thought comes into your head, you need to erase it. Every time you say something about yourself that's non-appealing, you need to ask for forgiveness from yourself. Okay? You have to trust yourself. You have to be true to yourself, your beliefs. You have to surround yourself with people that will understand your what you are. And you have to be nice to yourself. We talked about being nice by taking time and doing the things. You have to set healthy boundaries. And most important here is you have to forgive yourself when you make the mistakes about not taking care of yourself. Okay? You have to forgive yourself. Just like we've been taught in everything spiritually, we have to learn to forgive. We have to forgive ourselves. None of us are perfect. None of us have not made a mistake. And none of us can say we're not going to make mistakes, because you are. You're going to make some mistakes today, tomorrow, the next day, but you have to forgive yourself for doing it. Learn from them as best you can. Don't keep making the same mistake, but you have to learn to forgive. Okay? And self-love is just another way of saying self-care. Okay? Self-love is the same as self-care, because we can talk about taking care of yourself, but if you don't love yourself, you're not going to. If you don't love the person sitting next to you, you're not going to take care of them. All right? So we have to learn to do it to ourselves. We have to listen to our bodies. Okay? And as Patty mentioned earlier, we have to take breaks. We have to stretch, put the phone down, connect with others, people. You ever go into a restaurant and you see four family members sitting at a table? They all have their own phone. Nobody's talking to each other. Okay? There's no connection. Eat healthy. Okay? But once in a while, if you're healthy, you can indulge in something. It's okay, as long as you're not on a program. Okay? Okay? And you have to love and accept yourself as you are. That doesn't mean don't take care of yourself. That doesn't mean don't worry about losing the weight or getting healthy or starting to exercise. No. It means you have to say, accept yourself as you are in this very moment, and then work to change the things you need to change, because that's self-love. Okay? And ways to practice self-love: become mindful. Let people know what you're thinking, what you feel, and what you want. You want to take actions based on need rather than want. Okay, I think that's important. It's the things you need. I want a lot of things that I don't need. Okay? A lot of foods that I want, but I know I don't need them and they're not good for me. Self-love is taking care of myself and knowing. And I was telling somebody yesterday, on my third day of liquid, I went to CVS to get some toiletries. I was standing there waiting to be checked out, and all the rows of candy, I just was looking at them thinking, man, some sugar would taste good right now. Okay? And I tell people that's the devil sitting on your shoulder saying, doesn't matter, just have it. But you don't do it because you love yourself enough to say, you know what, I'm detoxing and it's not good for me and I'm not going to do it. All right? Practice good self-care. So if you take care of yourself, you don't do the things you know are wrong for yourself, you're going to love yourself more, and it's easier and easier to do it. And make room for healthy habits. Do stuff not to get it done. Do it because you care about doing it and you really and truly want to do it. Okay? So to practice self-love, start by being kind, patient, gentle, and compassionate to
Yourself.
yourself first. That way, it's easier to be that way to everybody else. Okay? You want to do all those things to yourself that you would do to somebody else that you care about. Now, with self-love and self-care comes self-esteem. So self-esteem means that dictates how you navigate life, handle stress, and relate to others, which is everything we've been talking about, whether it's self-love or self-care. It's so self-love, self-esteem, and self-care is all one. Okay? They're not separate. So specific reasons why a healthy level of self-esteem is important include emotional health. Okay? Self-esteem acts as a buffer against anxiety and depression, allowing you to manage stress more effectively and recover from setbacks without internalizing failure. So self-love said we had to forgive ourselves. If we don't forgive ourselves, we internalize failure. We have to have self-esteem is relationship quality. Valuing yourself makes it easier to set healthy boundaries, communicate your needs, and establish mutually respectful connections. Again, mutually respectful connections. If you're with people that you feel don't respect you and put you at the level they are, and if they're talking down to you, you need to get rid of them. Self-esteem helps with motivation and success because you start believing in your inherent worth and capabilities. So you inspires you to pursue your goals, those goals we talked about for self-care, to help you embrace new challenges of taking the time for yourself and take the calculated risks. Am I going to take too much time, etc.? Take the risks. And then self-esteem will help with physical well-being. High self-esteem correlates with positive health choices, including better stress management and management in self-care. So we start out with self-care, we went into self-love, and then self-esteem. And the last sentence brought it all the way back around where it said, including better stress management and engagement in self-care. It's a full circle. Okay? It's all one and the same. We have to take care of ourselves. If we do, we'll have self-care, we'll have self-love, and we'll have self-esteem. But it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. You take 5 minutes and stretch, you don't have all of a sudden have self-love and self-esteem. Okay? It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes work. Everything that's worthwhile takes work, takes effort, takes investment in many ways, and you have to do it. That's what we're here for, to help everybody in all aspects of their wellness journey, whether it's emotional, physical, and spiritual, because that's all the same as we just talked about self-care, self-esteem, and self-love. It's all connected, folks. Okay. Do we have questions, thoughts, ideas? Okay.
I switched computers, so now I have a mic. I can
Okay.
actually. I found myself getting into a rut of not doing this. Like, my mom has been sick, so I've been having to take care of her, and I've had some clients that have had some extra work that has demanded a lot more of my time. So I find myself not doing the things that I like to do, like my gardening and things like that. I get out there, I mow the lawn only because I have to, so I don't need a machete to get in my house, but I don't do it because I want to do it. I do it because I have to do it. Whereas before, that was one of my stress relievers, is to go out and pull some weeds or pick some flowers or whatever. And I recently started doing it again, and it does make a difference. It kind of takes you out of the craziness of life, but it's hard to get back into the habit once you break the habit, for sure.
That's like anything, whether it's exercise, whether it's going to church, whether it's anything. Once you get away from it, it's hard to get back into it because we feel that thing that we were doing and we fill it with something else. And that becomes important all of a sudden to us. And we have to stop and step back and go, wait a minute, what used to make me feel good? So again, agree. Who else? No other questions? No thoughts?
Hey John, this is Camille. Yeah, I really listened and learned a lot. And when I started like saying to persons who were negative around me, I would say to them, nope. Once the conversation starts, I'd shut it down. And in that process, you tend to lose persons who you normally talk to. But I found that it has done so much for me in terms of my peace of mind that once you call me and you're negative, I listen a bit. But if it's not taking me anywhere, then I'm just gonna break. And when you mentioned self-care and self-love and really shutting down negative conversation, it does help because you find that by you saying to them, rather than saying things that way, why don't you look on life this way? It takes time, but it does make me feel better as a person that I'm shutting down some stuff that would disturb my peace of mind. So today was really very interesting. I've learned a lot, and it is important that we take care of ourselves.
It is.
Exactly.
It is. And ourselves, oftentimes, is the last thing we do.
Yeah,
Because
that's
in our
true.
mind, we think that we're supposed to, that we're being selfish or we're being conceited or whatever the case may be. And
Hmm.
it's not true. It's not true. Anybody else have a thought or question, idea? Heather.
I'm with Kim, and I like to pick weeds too as a stress. And I gave up a weekend job too to start putting my health first.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good. And you have one grandchild or is it two now?
One.
One. Okay. So that takes some time. Yeah, you gotta adjust and make time for yourself. If you keep piling, how many people do you know that have said, I retired and now I'm busier now than I ever was when I worked?
Mm.
Okay. It
Yeah.
happens all the time. And people like, I don't have any time for myself. I hear this all the time from retired people.
Clayton, where is
Yeah.
he? He should be on.
He's,
Oh no, he's on
he's
vacation.
on vacation.
But
Yeah, and
he
there's other
says it all
people
the
too.
time.
That's why I'm afraid to retire.
Mhm.
So, okay, but that's a great point. I don't know about relaxing pulling weeds, but hey, that's each to their.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't golf, so that would be more stress for me.
There
So
you go. There you
a
go.
better thing.
Yeah.
Same.
So everybody's different. Yep.
Yeah.
So who else? Anybody else have a question or a thought? I think Georgiana wants to say
How do
something.
you, when you, like Dr. McCann, every patient he sees has pain. I'm going to ask him next time I go in, how does he deal with counteract all that he meets every day? Everyone is in pain. I guess the relief of fixing everybody and adjusting it helps out, balances it out.
Well,
He's got his
because
bike in the pool.
Dr. McCann is a chiropractor for those, but he loves what he does. So when, for example, people that come in here have things going on in their life, both physically and emotionally, a lot of times, but we learn not to take that on ourselves. We can't. Okay. We learn that if we help people, that's what makes me, and I'll speak for myself, me feel good because I'm helping somebody. When I see somebody change, Camille was in today and seeing the change in her and the bright smile on her face when she came out of her facial and the lights and stuff. That's what makes you feel good. I don't take on the people's problems because I can't. If I did, I
Mm.
wouldn't be able to function. Okay. But we also have to take breaks from it. And because if I spent 5, 6, 7 days a week doing that and listening to all the problems, pretty soon you would take it on because you don't have time to get away from it. So that's where planning and getting away and self-care comes into play. Okay. But you all have that. You have family members that call you and have this problem and that problem, etc. You can listen to it, you can try to help them, but then you have to say, I can't spend all my time doing that for them. I have to take care of me. So everybody is a caregiver. All of you out there are caregivers. If you're a parent, you're a sister, you're a brother, you're a mother, a father, a child, you're caregivers. Everybody is to a degree. Doesn't matter. Okay. So we just do it as a business. Most people just do it because that's life
Human nature.
to a smaller degree. Yeah. Anybody else? Have I talked long enough?
How do you feel? Think you talked long enough?
I feel good about myself. Thank you.
Good. Glad to hear
Okay, we're going to do the drawing then. If nobody else has a question, if you do, please